afternoon, never. Please, I have a question for you. Why'd you lie?
I know Commissioner Mesmar is here. Here he comes. So I'm in the building earlier.
Mike, feel good yourself? Awesome.
Mr. Frank, how are you?
Doing good.
Staying healthy?
Trying to.
Mayor, it's 5:30, Mayor.
Okay, I know it's a special meeting. Normally we don't put the prayer and the pledge on, but let's go ahead and do it anyway. So if you would join me in prayer. Our Heavenly Father, we ask that you be with us tonight and guide us in our decisions as we take action that will support the lives and of the people of our city, improve our businesses, improve our living conditions, and that we ask you to bless those who are serving in our armed forces around the world. We ask you to watch over and protect our first responders here in our city. And these things, in your name we pray. Amen. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. So now I'll call the meeting to order. Ask if there's any citizen communication. Has anybody signed up for citizen communication?
None, Mayor, I have none.
All right. All right. There's no one who signed up for citizen communication. The first item on the agenda is a proclamation proclaiming the week of September 17th through 23rd as Constitution Week. And we have some folks who would like to ask to come up and receive this proclamation. Dan Roberts, Williams, and representatives of the Daughters of the American Revolution. And we appreciate you always reminding us about the importance of the United States Constitution and asking us to present this proclamation. It's really important. Whereas the Constitution of the United States of America, the guardian of our liberties, embodies the principles of liberty, government, and a republic dedicated to rule by law. And whereas September 17, 2021 marks the 234th anniversary of framing the Constitution of the United States of America by the Constitutional Convention. And whereas it is fitting and proper to afford official recognition to this magnificent document and its memorable anniversary and to the patriotic celebrations to be commemorated. And whereas Public Law 915 guarantees the issuing of a proclamation each year by the President of the United States designating September 17th through September 23rd as Constitution Week in the city of Harlingen, we do hereby ask our citizens to reaffirm the ideals of the framers of the Constitution and those that they had in 1787 by vigilantly protecting the freedoms guaranteed to us through the guardian of our liberties. So we thank you again and for this reminder, and it is an important reminder and something that we should remember not just once a year on September 17th, but every single day.
We have a display at the library if you can provide it.
Okay, well, we appreciate you doing that. Thank you. Thank you. Item 2 is the consent agenda. Is there a motion to adopt the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign. Motion carries. Item 3, consideration and possible action to to approve a resolution adopting the Harlingen Community Improvement Board budget for fiscal year 2021 through 2022. Robert?
Good evening, Mayor, City Commissioners. The budget as presented on Exhibit A was approved by the Harlingen Community Improvement Board at their last meeting on September 15, 2021. The budget includes total revenues of $1,683,056 and total expenditures of $2,805,852. Staff recommends approval.
Is there a motion to approve?
He has to speak.
Well, this is not a did he sign up or submit a card?
No, Mayor, not through online.
All right, Mr. Martinez, come on up and state your name, and
Thank you. Thank you.
in the future, we're going to ask you, just
I-
in case you
I
didn't
did
know,
ask.
in the future, right, we ask you to sign up in advance.
I
okay?
did ask, they told me I didn't have to, that you were acknowledged 2 minutes.
Please state your name
My name is Desi Martinez,
and your address.
1806 Haverford, here in Harlingen, District 5. What the gentleman just proposed, it's all good, I'm sure. But I'd like to give you a recommendation as an economist and working in other communities in this area of work. This is a 4B sales taxes, and the law allows demolition. There's a lot of need in demolition of facilities, old buildings, especially in the older districts, 3 of them, and some in the northern district, and very little over towards the eastern district. And the only way some of these businesses and property owners could get assistance, because they don't have any money to do demolition, is through some initiatives that are developed within the 4B tax program. You name it differently here. I highly recommend that you provide a contingency and provide that the comprehensive plan identify these facilities. I'll give you an example, the old shrimp line. And industrial sites, old industrial sites, all along the railroad tracks. There's a need to work in business and industry. There's also a need to work with the older folks that have these sites and come up with something you can work with. It does work. We've done it in other cities. I think we should inspire this, because it'll create the vitality or recreate the vitality of the inner city. That's all. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Martinez. All right, is there any other discussion? Is there any other discussion? All those in favor say aye. Those,
Need a motion and a second, Mayor.
I thought we,
Yeah, we need a motion.
Motion for an approval.
Second.
okay, all right, is there a motion to adopt the Harlingen Community Improvement Board budget?
He motioned, Commissioner Uribe motioned, Commissioner Puente second.
All right, I thought that you all had made a motion and a second. All right, there's a motion and a second. Is there any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign. Don't do that. Don't do that to me. Item 4, consideration and possible action to approve an ordinance on second and final reading adopting the City of Harlingen's budget for fiscal year 2022 by a record vote. Robert?
Thank you, Mayor. Texas Local Government Code Section 102.007 requires the City Commission to vote to adopt a budget on a record vote. Exhibit A displays the total proposed revenues and expenditures and the estimated fund balances by fund for fiscal year 2022. The total proposed revenues are $95,450,962, and total proposed expenditures are $97,964,084. The revenues and expenditures do not include the CDBG, downtown improvement, the EDC, HCIB, or waterworks or airport. Those are approved separately. Staff recommends approval.
Does anybody have any questions for Robert? Is there a motion to approve
Motion.
Wait, we need to read the caption, I guess.
An ordinance adopting the revenue and expenditure budget for the city of Harlingen, Texas for the fiscal year October 1st, 2021 through September 30th, 2022, in the amount of $95,450,962 and $97,964,084 respectively, providing for publication of the caption of this ordinance and ordaining other matters related to the foregoing.
All right. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion.
Second.
Motion and second. All right. Any other discussion? All right, I'll start down here. Commissioner Uribe.
I oppose.
Yay. 4.
Reluctantly, but I'll go with 4.
Aye.
All right.
So,
So what do you,
was that a 3-2?
3,
It's a
2.
3-2.
No, mine was 4.
4?
Oh, you
Did you
voted
vote
yea?
for? Did you vote for?
Okay.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
It's 4-1. All right, thank you. All right, the motion carries. Item 5 is a consideration of possible action to approve a resolution ratifying the property tax increase reflected in the adopted budget for fiscal year 2022.
Local Government Code 102-007C also states that is required when property taxes are raised more than the previous year, a vote separate from the adopting the budget or tax rate must be taken to ratify the property tax increase. A vote in addition to and from separate from the vote to adopt the budget or tax rate must be taken to ratify the property tax increase. Staff recommends approval.
Okay. Anybody have any questions for Robert?
I just want to verify, the only reason the property taxes are going up is because the appraisal district went up, right?
Right.
'Cause
We are maintaining the same tax rate. The property values do increase, and that's for new properties and
And we also had over $400,000 in new property taxes that,
Added to the roll.
added to the tax roll.
But total revenues are also increasing, not just because of increase in appraised values, but because of addition
Yes.
of new
Right.
properties with improved values.
That is
So
correct.
New homes that are built, new commercial businesses that are built. And so just,
But our tax rate is the same
yeah,
as
so
last
just
year.
to, you know,
It is
just
the same,
one,
yes.
one observation here is that, in this PowerPoint presentation, just our personnel services pay and benefits alone went up, $1.8 million from last year to this year to pay for our collective bargaining obligations, to our policemen and our firemen, and also to increase, salaries to our, and so, the new revenues are what allows us to keep up with those obligations while still keeping our tax rate the same.
No, I understand that. I'm good.
All right, so is there a motion to,
May I ask
is
a
there a motion
question?
to approve the resolution?
And I think I asked you earlier, what's the difference in the increase in the taxes dollar amount?
So between the no new revenue tax rate and the current rate is approximately $255,000.
And the 12 new positions that are being created or asked to be created, what's the dollar amount?
I think it's about
259.
in just in total. I think there was like 12 positions. That I think it's about almost 600,000, like 600,000.
Okay, so with all due respect, all the new revenues, we're just creating more positions when I think we should be running leaner and more responsible. We just can't keep adding and bloating the way we run. We need to run more efficiently, and to increase that amount of money is basically, I just don't agree with it.
All right, is there any, we need a motion and a second.
Motion.
Second.
All right, is there any discussion, any other discussion? All right, this is the motion to approve a resolution ratifying the property tax increase, and we need a record. Do we need a record vote on this one? No.
I believe not, no.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Those opposed? Opposed. All right, the motion carries. Item 6 is consideration and possible action to approve an ordinance on second and final reading adopting the tax year 2021 ad valorem tax rate for maintenance and operations together with the interest and sinking rate for fiscal year 2022 by a record vote.
Yes, Chapter 26 of the Texas Government Tax Code requires the city commission's vote to adopt the city's tax rate to be a record vote. The proposed maintenance and operation rate for the tax year 2021 is .512839 per $100 valuation, together with the interest and sinking rate of .10701 per $100 valuation. The total proposed tax rate is .619849 per $100 valuation, and all legal requirements have been met to adopt this tax rate. Staff recommends approval.
Okay, so we need 3 separate motions, one on the M&O rate, one on the INS, and one on the effective increase.
I'll make a motion on item number 1. I move that the maintenance and operations rate be fixed at 0.512839 per $100.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. We do need a record vote on these. So Commissioner Uribe,
Opposed?
Oppose.
did you say
4.
opposed?
Yes. 4.
All right.
4.
4.
So we would have to revisit the budget.
Didn't we have enough votes to pass
Can't.
it?
No,
No, because you need a supermajority.
It'll take 4 votes.
we need
That's
4
why-
votes,
that's
or
why-
we have to revisit
That's
the
why you
budget
gotta read that document.
Right, it's
and
gonna
reduce
take
the
4.
budget.
It's
It'll take
60% of the governing body, yes, to pass it.
Okay, well,
Oh, there's that word.
okay, I'm sorry. Then I'll change mine to 4. That's, are all 3 of them gonna require 4?
Yes,
Okay,
Man, that was easy.
so we have
so
4.
so you would change your vote,
Yes.
Commissioner? Okay. He changed his vote,
Yes.
Mayor.
All right, we have an aye, so we have 4/5. Those, all right, motion carries. Need a second motion on the interest and sinking fund, which repays our debts.
I move that the interest and sinking tax rate be fixed at 0.107010 per $100.
Is there a
Second.
second? Okay. Need a record vote, unless there's a discussion. Record vote, Commissioner Uribe?
I oppose you.
Just a real quick
That-
question.
That's for the bonds,
You just say, you're gonna say yes.
It's a
to pay the debt.
I'll vote for myself. On some of these budgets that we talked about, if there's changes that we need to make later on down the line, is there a way?
So
transfer.
we amend the budget throughout the year
Okay.
for various reasons. We always look at revenue, see how things are coming in, so we can always make adjustments to the expenditures.
Okay, so 4.
4.
4. 4.
4.
All right, the motion carries. Now we need a motion on the effective rate increase.
I move that the property tax rate be increased by the adoption of a tax rate of 0.619849 per $100, which is effectively a 1.146% increase in the tax rate.
Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? So we'll need a record vote. Commissioner Uribe?
No, I oppose.
4. 4. 4.
4.
All right, the motion carries. Item 7 is the consideration of possible action to adopt the fiscal year 2021-2022 budget for the Harlingen Convention Center.
Mayor, members of the commission, in accordance with the Harlingen Convention Center Lease and Operations Agreement, the city commission must approve the annual budget for the Harlingen Convention Center. BC Lund has submitted the budget. It is included in your packet. Here to present the budget are Javier Segura and Stephen Bradal with the Harlingen Convention Center and the Harlingen Hilton Garden Inn. So, gentlemen.
I didn't see it. I didn't know they were here. Yeah.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. My name is Javier Segura. I am here on behalf of BC Lynn Hospitality Management Company to present the Convention Center budget for fiscal year 2021 and 2022. Budget top-line sales forecasted at 1.067.043. Our expenses at 1,072,483. Our NOI is showing at a negative 37,453. We believe this to be a realistic budget during these times. Now, before we answer any questions, if you should have any, I would like to introduce you to Stephen Villarreal, who reviews some of our past sales efforts in 2021 and a few focus points for 2022.
Good afternoon, Mayor. Good afternoon, Commissioners. Welcome. A little bit louder, there you go. My name is Stephen Villarreal, the Director of Sales for both the Convention Center and the Hilton Garden Inn. It is my privilege this afternoon to just mention some of the items that we've accomplished in 2021. One, by just building very fine relationships with institutions within our city and within the Rio Grande Valley, such as UTRGV, IDEA Public Schools, school districts across the valley, our neighboring cities. We've also introduced our convention center for incoming conferences to partners that do business with South Padre Island areas, and invited them to come to us here in Harlingen as the formal destination within South Texas to only carry the convention center connected to hotel south of San Antonio. So that's been very impressive within the areas such as Austin, Texas, to the association market, and some of the medical market, our neighboring towns, San Antonio, Corpus, Laredo. They have really appreciated the idea of bringing their conferences to Harlingen and introducing them to the Harlingen Convention Center. And of course, with Hilton being tied and connected with the Convention Center, that just gives us more of a wider opened door and more opportunities, because they're coming to a brand new hotel and a brand new as well. We introduced it as a new convention center in South Texas. So they do appreciate that, and that's what we've been doing in 2021. In 2022, we are doing sales calls to introduce again the convention center into these markets such as San Antonio, Austin, Corpus Christi, Laredo. We are, boots on the ground and putting those efforts forth, and inviting them to come out here. We are introducing them to the possibility of forming FAM tours into the convention center and bringing them in to recognize what we have to offer here in Harlingen and in South Texas. We like to introduce it as a large entity such as that, just so we could, get that wider audience. Some of the relationships that we continue to look towards is, of course, the city of Harlingen, which has been a big partner of ours, and we really value that partnership and take very, very good care, of course, our bosses. And so we continue to do that. IDEA Public Schools is also going to be doing business with us in 2022. UTRGV, School of Medicine, will be also participating with efforts. And of course, the Chamber of Commerce, the Harlingen Economic Development Corporation, the Rio Grande Valley Chamber of Commerce, they've also going to be partnering with us in bringing business to us in 2022 and increasing our revenues. So we're really pushing that effort.
May I ask you a question?
Of course.
What is your plan? I understand that the city of San Miguel is doing a large convention center with a hotel. The city of Brownsville is doing a very large development as well with a hotel as well. Mm-hmm. Are those also tied with Hilton, or are they other brand names, or vendors, or what is their strategic plan to compete with? When you get, right now you have, you're the new kid on the block, you're the kind of newest thing, that's a great thing. But what is your plan to compete with that? Because I believe that if I understood correctly, the city of San Miguel is going to have twice the size capacity, or if not triple the size, mm-hmm. and Brownsville as well. They're going to build these large convention centers. And what's the plan to compete with that, or to be able to absorb that kind of competition?
One of our ideas is establish those partnerships now. get them to appreciate what we have now. I have not yet been made aware of what flags are going to be attached to those convention centers. I'm not sure if that's been announced or not yet.
Is it possible that the Hilton would partner up with them as well?
It's a possibility.
Is there anything preventing them from doing a non-compete?
I strongly would agree on the non-compete clauses. That, again, those flags have not yet been mentioned, but there is a possibility that it could be a Hilton brand. Hopefully not. But if anything, we're going to kind of work with them. I'd like to say we kind of partner in bringing bigger business, and opening that door to larger conferences that we can also support. Now, Harlingen will, of course, will be competing against that. And it's just basically going to come down to customer service, attentive to all the details, and professionalism. I mean,
Have you seen the layouts for either one of them?
I have seen them online. Now, the San Benito one, I'm not sure yet, sir, where it's at. But what I've been informed is that it's on a pause. I'm not sure if that's true or not. But I definitely would like to dig a little deeper and find out if that is still going to happen or not.
Pause, but okay.
Okay.
That was my question.
Oh, thank you, sir.
All right. Anything else? Does anybody have any questions? If not, is there a motion to approve the budget?
So moved.
Can we get a second?
Second.
I know we have a motion.
Oh.
We have a second. All right. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign. The motion carries. Item 8, consideration of possible action to approve an addendum to the interlocal agreement between the City of Harlingen and Cameron County for tax assessment collection. Carlos.
Mayor, Commissioners, good afternoon. This is, in essence, an addendum to the agreement that was approved recently on July the 27th. And in essence, it's just adding the downtown improvement district to be part of the services that the county's going to do for the assessments and tax collection.
So we had failed to include the assessments for downtown. So the county contacted us and said, we need an addendum so that we can go ahead and collect for the assessments to be included in the tax bill. So it's going to be an additional $149 a year in cost, but the staff is recommending approval.
All right. Is there a motion to approve the addendum?
Motion.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries. Item 9, consideration and possible action to authorize staff to contract JF Petroleum Group for the purchase and installation to replace 2 above-ground fuel storage tanks located at 404 South 54th Street, utilizing buy board contract number 590-19. Robert?
Thank you, Mayor. We do have 2 10,000-gallon single-walled tanks that are above-ground storage tanks. We have one for unleaded and one for diesel, which are used to supply fuel to our fleet, which includes all the landfill garbage pickup, transports out of the city to Edinburgh. And so those are located at the Public Works Complex over at 404 South 54th Street. And they are over 20 years old, and they have been refurbished within, I think the last time it was in 2000. But they are beginning to corrode, and we did have a small leak in the diesel tank. And so we tried to repair it, and it was, they were not able to repair it, so they said we had to move to replace it. So that's where we are right now. We do have, I think we use about 1,200 gallons per day in diesel, which is the one that has the small leak. So we tried to repair it. It was unrepairable because it was at the very bottom, and it just was not able to repair it. So we're asking for this to be an urgent repair. JF Petroleum Group is a buy board contract. So staff is recommending to contract with JF Petroleum for the purchase and installation of 2 new double-walled UL 142 Flame Shield above-ground storage tanks in the amount of $182,618.38 through a buy board cooperative contract pricing. You have any questions, I can answer those.
Is it not possible do the companies not lease their tanks?
I'm not looked into the leasing of it. It's because they are like.
No, I understand what they are, but
Yeah.
there's companies that, my understanding, that they lease them, which takes away the responsibility of the maintenance and stuff, because they maintain them. And if we were leasing the ones we have now, it would have been their job to replace it or whatever. I would like to see, a comparison of lease
leasing.
options
Okay.
versus a purchase, especially the fact that we just approved a budget that's over in expenses. Right? I think we save a little bit of money. We don't have to do the maintenance on it. You have somebody that can provide you records and maintenance, and all the stuff that comes with it. So that's what I would like to see.
So just in the research and in doing this, it does take 6 months to replace them. And we do have daily transports from the city to the landfill and including our garbage truck. So right now,
But we could also contract with any fueling station, a Stripes, a Circle K, whoever. That's also, it's a commercial fleet. We could get a special rate and do that in the meantime. And you might find that'd be a cheaper option than going to the repairs and the liability of all that. Just to suggest, that's just my thoughts on it.
thank you.
Why don't you do that?
The leasing?
No, why don't you turn around and work with like Loves or Stripes? Or, here's the situation. You contract with one of these vendors, all right? They will sell you the fuel at 2 to 3, maybe 5 cents above their cost. And the city won't have to pay the transport. In other words, getting the fuel from point A back into our tanks. That's what, about $175, $200 a trip?
And Commissioner, it's also the inventory value of 12,000 gallons.
The inventory
and that's also a cost, which I have a problem with.
So, I don't get
I guess whenever there's hurricanes or even during the pandemic when there was, they were saying they were running out of fuel. When we were running out of fuel, our tanks, we still maintained an inventory to supply our fleet for garbage and for transport to the landfill. Whenever, if we were to have to go to Love's or any one of those, if they're out, we can't run our fleet. So maintaining our inventory is
But you could also get proprietary service.
Yeah, I believe so.
That's part of the contract.
Yeah.
So,
In an
They run out,
emergency, when there's no electricity, you can't buy gas anywhere.
Right.
And so it's wise and prudent to have your own fail-safe system in case of emergencies.
Right.
The other thing is, if this tank is leaking, then we have environmental concerns, we have fire concerns, we have all sort of concerns, and it needs to be addressed quickly. And this is nothing to dilly-dally about, but to take urgent action on.
it's not gonna take any more time to either lease it or buy it. And, sir, you're a financial guy. It makes more sense to lease it.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, it does.
Leasing is a poor option for almost everything.
Let's backtrack a little bit here. I know you want to go with the J&B or J&M Petroleum. Okay, South Texas Pump is throwing in a bid for about $140,000. I know it's only good for, 10 days or whatever. Have you contacted them to see if they can do that for?
Well, the thing is that they're not on a buy board contract, and so we were, this is an urgent purchase because of the amount of refuse, I guess, that we transport and the garbage. If we don't have diesel, I believe it takes like 45 minutes to fuel up one of those rigs. Anytime they try and fuel up, they have to unhook the trailer. They go to our Commerce location and they fuel up, and I believe they're like $100-gallon tanks on each one of those rigs. So it's been taking them a significant amount of time. So we were trying to do an urgent purchase. I'm sorry?
They don't have a fast pump?
They do, but I believe it still takes about 45 minutes. It takes a while to fuel them up, but.
45 minutes if their first is 9. If there's another vehicle in front, they have to wait for that vehicle to.
And that's with the
And
booster
this
pump? With that quick fill, they have those, it's a quick connect where it shoots out gas at a.
Yeah, the diesel, I
extremely
think, are
high rate.
required to have.
We don't have that. Okay, so again, you could lease it and upgrade your system and save time I don't know,
So,
that's just my.
so Richard, have you measured the height of gas station canopies versus the height of our garbage trucks?
I'm not disagreeing with having to replace it.
I mean, do they
I'm
fit?
just saying that you can get it all done and lease it, and then, again, I'm surprised we don't have a quick pump. Most of the commercial truck stops have them, and it cuts the time, it's a fraction of the time. It shoots out that diesel like super fast. That's what they're designed for. We have an antiquated system, it needs to get repaired. I'm in all in favor of that. It's just the way we approach it, that where we can lease it for pennies and not take out money out of.
So do you know that above ground fuel storage is leasable? Or are you just guessing at that?
I'm almost 100% positive, but that's why.
Well, almost 100% isn't 100%. It either is or it
But that's why I'm
isn't.
asking him to give me the information. I'm surprised he doesn't have that answer right now. He should have that answer.
Well,
When
he has
prepare-
he has
Well,
an
no, when
answer.
They prepare something, they need to do their research, okay? And that's a very simple option, okay? When you come and you present something, I like to see numbers. I like
This
to
is
see
why
options.
we trust these
Okay.
guys,
See,
to
you
do
never
the
trust
things
me.
properly
This is
and
why
not
I-
to
but
second
Mike,
guess
this is why
them.
I ask questions. And that's why it's important to ask questions. Now, if he comes back and tells me that's not an option, I can live with that. But if I find out there's an option and it's a better option and a cheaper option and we get better equipment, then that's the right thing to do by the city. Would you not agree?
I would think they've done enough detail, and we should trust our
Obviously,
team.
they
If
have
you
not,
don't
because
trust
they don't
our
have the answers
team,
that I'm asking.
fire him too, because you're firing everyone else.
All right, is there a, what
We can go
are
there.
we gonna do? What are we gonna do with this? We need to replace it's obvious that we need to replace the pumps.
Which I'm not-
We
I'm not-
we
I'm not
have, we need to have need to have an in-house system because we need to have reliability. We can't be dependent upon going down the street and hoping somebody's got enough gas to supply our waste management and our waste management system. So anyway, it's either check into whether or not there's leasing available, which we can do, or move forward with this proposed purchase. You asked a question, I don't think you really got an answer. That
Can
was,
we-
why aren't we going with this other?
Why can't you call South Texas Pump and see how fast they can do it? I know they're not part of the buy boards, but it'll save us over $40,000.
So if they're not part of the buy board, we have to follow a procurement method, which
Can I chime in here to the commissioner's point? It is an urgent repair, so why couldn't we accept that lower bid?
And find out how fast they can do it.
And if they're leased.
Let me throw something else at you. Instead of having above-ground tanks, wouldn't it be better to put them underground? So we won't have the issue of corrosion? Please? Please cover all the bases.
absolutely.
All right, why don't we get do y'all have any other questions? Do y'all have any other questions?
Quick question. If we delay this, how long, because I know we don't have our next commission meeting till when?
Next week.
Well, that's what I was going to suggest. I was going to suggest we table this until next Wednesday, but
Okay.
I want everybody to submit their questions to the staff now so that we can get your answers prior to the next meeting, which will be a week from today, or a week from
But-
Tuesday, or,
Well, no, Mayor, the next meeting's on the 28th, and that's a workshop.
Yeah.
The actual next regular scheduled meeting is October the 11th.
So.
well, why can't
just if
why can't we add it to the workshop?
There's no action taken at a workshop. We could change it to a special meeting.
Well,
We can have a.
or set the meeting at 5.
30 minutes. prior.
Set a special meeting at 5. We can do it on the same day. We're all going to be here.
Okay.
Just to
You
give you a
all come
time
at
frame. it
5,
takes.
5 o'clock?
Yes,
Okay, 5 o'clock. Is there a motion to table?
so moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like
Opposed.
sign, motion
Opposed.
carries. Item 10, consideration of possible action to allow the city manager to approve a vendor to replace and update the police department security and access control system.
Mayor, Commissioners,
We did a budget amendment earlier this year, specifically for this item. We've been in need of replacing our security system at the police department. So going out for quotes and going back and forth, it's been a lengthy process, but we got these 3 quotes which are included in the packet. One from ASAP Security Systems installed by Circle Industries, also Mood with RZ Communications, and then Johnson Controls. We are recommending the ASAP Security Systems, even though it's slightly higher than the Mood quote, but mainly for the warranties involved. But I'll answer any questions you have.
Yes, I have one. On page 4 of your quote, the last item, we have a TIPS vendor contract number, and we're being charged $10,723.46. Is that correct?
That's correct. One reason why these quotes took so long initially is that none of them were tips or buy board, so they had to go back and get on that.
But they're part of TIPS.
They are now.
They are now.
Right.
So does that mean we save some money by removing this 10,000? If I'm not mistaken, TIPS charges 2%. And that's more like a finder's fee. Not, but I cannot verify that because I didn't have a chance to call TIPS to verify.
I know all 3 vendors had said it was gonna cost more to be on the buy board or the tips. So they included that as part of their quote, so yeah, initially their quote was that much less.
So the quote is 301,000,
Correct,
not 290,000 less.
correct.
Can we approve the vendor without the extra charge? And go back to them and see if they'll accept that? Or, I'm in agreement with that. I don't think we should be buying anybody a license to bid.
Okay, so what does the commission want to do? The staff's recommendation is to go with ASAP Security Systems for $301,000.
Is this something that you need, Chief?
We've needed it for quite a while.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Is there any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Those opposed?
No.
All right, the motion carries. That is the last item on our agenda, therefore our meeting is concluded. Ladies and gentlemen, we are adjourned. Y'all have a good evening. Thank you and good night.